So here I am vlogging. I actually wanted to go for a walk and have this conversation with you guys, but it's super rainy right now. And so I'm like, okay, I think the best thing is for me to go inside and talk about it in there. So that's what I'm gonna do. But before I do that, let me just say, entrepreneurship is activism. That is what this video is about. That's what I'm gonna talk about. So let me go set myself up in my office and then continue this conversation because it's like raining. If you can see the sky. Super cloudy, so I'll be right back. So we're going to talk about entrepreneurship as activism, but before I do that, I do want to make mention that I am going to be talking about platform because it means more now than it ever has. This is the fourth cycle that is coming up, and I don't think there has ever been a time where what platform stands for has been more important in society, right? It's not just about me, it's not just about you. Now it's about the world. Now it's about how can we get the people who are destined to be leaders, the people who are destined to be, yes, to be a personal brand, but it's a personal brand with a personal message that matters to the world now more than ever. So you're going to be hearing a lot about platform. If you follow me, if you read my emails, you're going to be hearing a lot about it because there are people who God has called specifically to a platform, and all they need is a little bit of help to get there. All they need is the system and somebody to guide them. All they need is a champion in their corner and a community that is going to rally around them as they build. And that's what platform has always been, but I'm doing a whole revamp to the program to meet the needs that are now, really, like COVID season. Black Lives Matter. All of the things that we're talking about, I'm reworking the system so that we can address them head on inside a platform. And so you're gonna have me guiding you the whole way so that you're not like, hey, I know I'm called to entrepreneurship. I know that I'm supposed to be doing this, but I have no idea what to do or how to start. Let me tell you something. If ever you have felt called, if you have been ignoring the call to entrepreneurship, I am going to plead with you to please stop ignoring it. Like, your voice carries more weight now than it will ever carry ever. Like, this really is the time. I was having some conversations with a lot of different professionals in the industry. I was talking to spiritual professionals, life coaches, other business coaches, and we all collectively as an industry are saying the same thing. This is the time. Like, the leaders who rise right now will be the ones who make the biggest difference. Not just the biggest difference. We're talking about the biggest impact. We're talking about the money, because being in a recession doesn't actually matter. Like, when you're an entrepreneur, being in a recession can sometimes be the catalyst for you to start your business, right? And I can give you all the historical data there. We have Madam CJ Walker, who started her $1 million business during the Spanish flu. We have all of those companies who, you know, became multi-billion dollar companies even during the Great Depression. We have the recession of 2008 and all of the companies that came out of there. So for an entrepreneur, this is actually a good thing. Like, this is a good idea to start a business right now. I was reading another article that was talking about investors, and all of the investors are like, we are getting in on all of the new startups that are happening right now, because this is usually when the most brilliant of the brilliant start to show up. And I don't think any of us can deny that over the last, I would say, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, we've been looking at our lives like, you know, just kind of slightly dumbfounded, slightly depressed, but also we're coming to the edge of ourselves, right? We're coming to a place where we're like, you know what? I know that there is something more inside of me. I know that I am destined to do something else. I know that I have been putting off this calling for a long time. I have been just trying to ignore it. I've been sweeping it under the rug. I've done everything that I can under the sun to not do what I am supposed to do. I have been there. Believe me, I did it for, I don't know, maybe a decade and a half. And part of that is I didn't know what to do. Part of that is that I didn't have any examples to follow. And part of it was that I was scared, to be honest. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? There's so much fear in the unknown. But here's what's interesting. When you have somebody that can actually walk you through so that it is not unknown, then you get a chance to create your own version of success. And I think what happened is, especially over the last, I don't know, 100 years, maybe a little bit less for women, is that success was defined a certain way, right? You did this, and then you did this, and then you did this, and that was supposed to equal success. But what happens when you're right now, in this moment, looking at all of the things that you have done up until now and realizing you're still not fulfilled, you're still not happy, you're not living the life that was promised to you in the onset, and you're like, what the heck am I supposed to do? But you know, and there are certain people that know, you know that you are called to something else. You know that you are destined for something else. Ignoring it is not going to make it go away. It's just going to come back, if not harder, stronger, faster, you know, like more of a weight, more of a burden instead of a blessing. So that's why I'm like, hey, let's take this desire you have to show up in the world as a leader, to show up in the world as you know, somebody who has a voice. Like, let's take all of that and then let's turn that into something. When I was doing my research, you know, when I was getting my doctorate, doing my research, you guys know that my area of focus happened to be women entrepreneurs in the online space. All of the research said that entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, are going to be responsible for the growth of the American economy. That was just, it was stated as facts. Kauffman Foundation, Pew Research, other articles that were written, everybody said the exact same thing. And I think where my heart is and where my heart has always been is to help you understand that this calling is actually meant to serve more than just you. The world needs you now more than ever. So when I say entrepreneurship is activism, when you are standing on the fact that you make your own money and nobody can tell you what to do, that is activism. When you are standing on the fact that your voice carries weight in a society where it's not usually valued, entrepreneurship is activism. When you are standing on the fact that you are a leader in a space that leaders are needed now more than ever, entrepreneurship is activism, because it's not just about starting a business and making money. It's about the fact that you're going to have a platform where you can speak into these things. You want to run for politics? Great. You want to write a book? Great. You want to stand on stages once COVID is over and you can actually stand on a stage and speak in front of crowds? Great. All of those things you get to do. And you know what? You can talk about whatever you want, because no one, literally, no one is going to be able to tell you no. And I know that sounds really extreme, right? Like I'm like this, like we're going to fight to be on, but I'm telling you, it matters, because in a society where there has been a lot of systemic racism, a lot of systemic, not just racism, but just institutionalized things that have held us back. When I say us, I mean Black people, I mean brown people, I specifically mean Black women, women of color, right? Because it's almost like everything, and this is not, listen, I'm the last person to play a victim, and I want to be very clear about that. This has nothing to do with victim mentality. I own a very successful business. I make a 1% income. I own a home. I have several degrees. All the things that they would say you could never achieve because of systemic racism, you know, I actually have achieved. So there's that. But I did it because I could, because the opportunity was there, and because I was going to seize it. And yes, did I experience some of the blocks along the way that were created to not have me, you know, be my best self or live my best life? 100%, 100%. But what I wasn't going to do is say, this is going to keep me down. That is why entrepreneurship matters so much to me, because I know the freedom of choice that you get to have when you live in your own economy. I know the freedom of choice that you get to have when you make your own money on your own terms, and no one is telling you how much you're worth. No one's going to say, yeah, okay, we'll give you $70,000 a year. We'll give you $100,000 a year. We'll give you $200,000 a year. No. What if you decided one day that you wanted to be worth $1 million a year? I did, right? What if you decided one day that you were going to be worth $2 million? Whatever the number is, you get to decide it, because you are in a place of controlling it. Now, understand, sometimes people just want to be entrepreneurs because of the money, and I get that. Like, there is a beauty that comes with being able to have all of those things. But more than that, entrepreneurship really is a calling. I mean, you cannot be a punk and be an entrepreneur. I just want to be very clear. This is not for the faint of heart. There is work involved. So, and the funny thing is the work really has nothing to do with like skill set or talent. The work is actually what's happening between the ears. That's where most of the things that I work on with my clients happens, is because it's a mindset shift. It's going from employee to entrepreneur. It's going from feeling like you're not in control to, oh, actually, I have more control than I thought. It's going from having somebody else tell you what to do all the time to you getting a chance to dictate what your life is going to look like because you decided it that way. So when I tell you I'm opening up platform, I am, and I'm so honored that I get to do it because and I'll get emotional and I'll try not to, but I'm so honored that this is the work that I get to do because I get a chance to really help people step into their purpose, really help people understand what their calling is, and to face it head on with support and with somebody holding their hand, because it's not easy. I mean, it's not, like I said, not for the faint of heart. But when you see somebody really basking in the glory of God's call on their life, because they know it is God's call on their life, there is something so beautiful about that. When I hear of my clients standing on stages talking about the things that are the most important to them, changing lives of the people that they get to touch, that matters. It matters so much, especially if you are this color. It matters a great deal. Your voice matters more now than ever, and that's why platform's opening up. So I will have the VIP list available. Enrollment for the VIP list starts on Sunday, and it'll be open all through next week. I think it's like Sunday the 26th until August 1st, I think. And then after that, I will go into what I normally go into, which is my big launch of the year. And it's the same launch strategy that I teach. And here's why that's also important. Or maybe I'll talk about it now. You can pause this and watch it later, but I teach I teach it, but I also want you to understand a annual launching situation. There are a lot of people that will judge that because, they think you should always be selling, right? And to a degree, yes, you should always have things available to sell. There are some people who will, say, don't do one big launch, but the truth of the matter is that the industry experts do one big launch. I mean, that's what works. One, it works because if you could guarantee that, hundreds of thousands of dollars could come into your business in a 4-week period of time, who would not want that? I mean, that frees you up for the rest of the year to do all of the other things that you want. I'll talk about this more in a future video, but that's what we want. So that's the method that I operate by. It allows me to do all the other projects that I have. It also allows me to do the things that I'm passionate about. And yes, I'm passionate about my coaching business and I'm passionate about helping people, but I'm passionate about my church and I love what I do there. And I'm passionate about Flourish Media and owning and operating that. And I'm passionate about a lot of things. And if you are a multi-passionate person, and I know there are a lot of you out there, this video is a lot longer than I intended, I'm sorry, but if you're a multi-passionate person, then platform is actually perfect for you, because what I'm going to be teaching specifically, especially in this season, like I said, is going to be directed at the signs of the times. What's going to matter now so that a year from now, you will be set up for more success than you've ever had in your whole life. That's kind of the direction that we're going. That's why I'm doing a whole revamp. Platform will be better than it has ever been. I've already declared that. I've already stated it. I'm already taking a look at it. My assistant and I are working on things, making sure that platform is the very best that it has ever been, because it needs to be for you to show up at your highest and best. I need to make sure that, the program is the highest and best. This is the 4th year of platform, like I said, so it's not like I have to explain to you, if you've been in my community, what the heck is platform? It's my annual coaching program. I only open it once a year. And then I take those women and a couple of men that always end up following suit. I take those people through a journey of becoming their highest and best self, of stepping into not just being an entrepreneur, but really being a CEO, because so many women don't understand what that looks like. And when I tell you it's going to be the best it has ever been, there is going to be so much here. I always over deliver, but we're going to take over delivery on steroids this round of platform. So get ready for that. It is coming your way. Entrepreneurship is activism. If you are called to be an entrepreneur, this is not the time to be afraid. This is not the time to lean into uncertainty and say, oh, I just don't. Listen, if God is calling you to do something, He will call you and call you and call you over and over again. More importantly, if God's calling you, He's going to figure out how you can get there. But he can't do it if you're not willing to do your part. And sometimes your part is just saying yes, just showing up, just signing up for a platform, and then watch what happens over the next, I guess from now until the end, the next 8 months. Your whole life will change. I'm telling you, it's gonna be better than ever. Trust that. If you feel called, you know why, right? This is not going to be the call for everybody, and I understand that. But this is a call for somebody. As a matter of fact, I don't want everybody in the program. I really don't. I only want people who know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is calling them to a higher level. That's it. And if that is you, then the VIP link is going to be in the email. It's also going to be on the screen here. So you can just go to that link. And then Sunday, I am releasing a special training for the VIP list only. And from there, you will be able to register for platforms. So make sure you're on the VIP list. It matters so much now. Like, your voice matters so much more now than it ever has. Trust that. And for those of you who are joining me on this journey, it's going to be one heck of a ride, and I'm super excited. So I will see you there.